Yeah, you know, sometimes the best thing we need to do is just to get out on the bicycle and clear your head of all the nonsense that's happening. A friend of mine gave me some good advice last night. He said, you're never gonna find the time for anything. You've got to make the time. And that's how it works in our life and our relationship with God as well. If we've got the attitude that we've got to find the time, you're basically looking for what's left over out of the day. But when you make the time, you're actually setting time aside and saying, well, that time I'm going to spend with God. Or make time to cycle. That time I'm going to get on my bike. And I woke up this morning and I was sort of in two minds where I wanted to cycle. And sort of reluctantly got on my bike and got out on the road. And you know, there were just three words that kept on running around in my head. And it was goodness, mercy and peace. And the more I toyed with goodness, mercy and peace, I sort of came to realize that you know, the goodness is what God gives us every day. And so often we get so overwhelmed by the natural things that are happening around us that we actually forget about the goodness that God gives us. Because the natural is so real to us. What's happening, the struggles you face, the challenges you face are so real. They're now, they're in your face, and they're loud. And so often we get overwhelmed by that, and we actually don't see the goodness that God gives us, the little things, the big things that He gives us. And yeah, so you know, just you need to make time to see the goodness. You need to make time to appreciate the goodness and the good things that God gives us. And I was still thinking about the mercy. Yeah, mercy is something we probably, as Christians, we've got to rely on the most, because if it wasn't for mercy, we'd be lost, we'd be completely lost. If it wasn't for the mercy of God on our lives, if it wasn't for His forgiving power, we would just be completely lost in a world that's out of control. And so yeah, mercy is something that we probably focus on more often than anything else, because we as Christians realize that we need His mercy to be able to live. We need to realize that we do sin, and we need to continue to seek His grace and His forgiveness and His mercy in our lives. And then, you know, the peace. I was thinking about the peace, you know, that sometimes it's just peace in the storm. Because when we find peace in the storm, we're able to appreciate His goodness. And when we find peace in the storm, we're able to realize